Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again. My name is Jeremy, and this is the Monday Mindset Check episode of the Crew First Culture podcast. Back on a Monday, so that's a good thing. I've actually been kind of mentally preparing myself for a couple days for this episode. But that being said, I believe that we're going to kind of change directions. I've got a topic that is going to be it's going to have a lot of personal stuff in it. It's going to be very personal episode, and you know, it's really coming from just some situations I'm going through right now where I had some things inside that needed to come out. That type of deal, and sat down actually last shift. Got in early like usual, and listening to some stuff on the way in, and it just kind of started building up. So as soon as I got into town, I pulled out the notebook and just started writing, and it just kind of kept going and kept going. And somewhat of a therapeutic thing, and somewhat of, really, I want to use my life as an example to others that may be struggling through the same things, and maybe as some motivation, some inspiration, just to be able to share experiences and hopefully add value to somebody's life. And so, my wife asked me about kind of what the purpose of that writing was, and I really, that's the best way I can describe it. I absolutely have no intentions of putting it out like an article or anything like that. I just don't think it's the right fit for something like that. But maybe sharing it over an episode would be a good kind of format to share. So anyway, uh, look look for that in the future. I hope to at least have it ready and good to go by next Monday's episode. If depending on how much I've got to share, it may even be just its own standalone bonus episode. I don't know, but as hard as it might be, I am looking forward to sharing that and really getting into that, and hopefully providing some inspiration to others. So anyway, don't really have that ready. I want to make sure it's right, make sure it's not rushed. And so today, kind of flipping directions, I want to, and we'll just put the title as comfort zone or danger zone. And so I think if we're talking about personal growth, if we're talking about learning, uh, just any kind of positive anything in your life, if you want to really gain something, learn, grow, get better at something, you know if there's skills that you need to be better at, whatever it is, it won't happen if you are stuck in your comfort zone. And kind of what I mean by that is, a lot of people are intimidated by training. A lot of people, they have a mental block as far as getting out and training, and especially in front of people. They don't want to mess up. They don't want to show their weaknesses, or things like that. Or a lot of people just, their mental block is they don't want to get up and do anything, period. And that's where they're stuck. They're just stuck in a rut of, yeah, I know I need to get out and do something. Yeah, I know I need to have a better attitude. Yeah, I know I need to do this and this and this and this and this, but I just can't make myself do it. You know, and we can go on and on and on about examples of these things, or even different other areas of examples of somebody really digging into their comfort zone. But that is exactly where I'm going, is it's so easy to stay in the areas that we feel safe, in the areas that don't show our weaknesses, in the areas that don't push us, in the areas that don't challenge us. That's easy. That's also the easiest way to never grow, to never learn, to never get better. And so, there are some other things that go into this that we might touch on here in a little bit, but if you truly want to grow and learn and get better, you have got to push yourself outside of those comfort zones. You have got to get yourself up outside of the, the planning root stages, or, whatever it is that you're struggling with right now. You have got to get yourself outside of that in order to start that growth, to start learning. And so that's kind of the main idea and topic for today that I want to share with everybody, because it's so big and I see it all the time. And it's exactly that. It's we're always going to find justification for it, or you know sometimes we don't even really make ourselves justify it. It's just, I don't want to do it, or I don't feel like it. Whatever it is, those mindsets and that being who you are, that means that that is going to be who you are. You're not going to be getting any better. You're not going to be doing anything different. And you know something that I and really looking forward to sharing this week's guest on Thursday. It's a conversation that I had with Jason Hovelman. He's authored several books, and lots and lots and lots of articles, and he's got several social media pages, a couple podcasts that he does. He's got a online platform that basically mentoring and developing all ranks of leaders. I mean, a solid guy doing great things for the fire service. But we touch on a little bit of this type of mentality in this conversation, but you know something that he kind of what it just kind of came up, but he used the word change and something and some topics that we were talking about, and I just started thinking, change is such a hard word to digest for firefighters. It's not a very outside the lines thing to say that firefighters just don't like change. So maybe that isn't a great way to say it. Maybe evolution is the right way of saying it. Evolving. And what I mean by that is, well, I'm not necessarily trying to change as a person. I like who I am. I know who I am. I know all the positives about me. So I'm not trying to change who I am. I am trying to evolve, though. I am continuously trying to evolve. And so maybe that's a better way to put it, so that you aren't kind of closing some doors before you even really gain any ground. Or maybe it's a better way to draw people in without scaring them off. I don't know. Personally, it doesn't matter what you call it. As far as I'm concerned, we need to be getting better every day. But maybe some people find that is a more acceptable way to say it. Anyway, and in that conversation with him, I talk about, it's amazing the evolution of just looking back at you know not quite 3 years now that I've been a captain. Been a station officer for be 3 years in, I think, April. And thinking back to those expectations that I had back then, because I had them ready to go. Before I stepped in the door day one, I had it ready to go. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I expected, and I had it wrote down. And of course, we sat and did the whole crew expectations and that whole meeting. But just thinking back to what those expectations said compared to what they say today, it's truly amazing. And it's not because I have changed. It's just because I have evolved. I have, the way he puts it, you learn, you gain experience, you deal with problems and you deal with issues and you find solutions for those, and so you learn those. It's a huge picture, and it all just circles around evolving through your career. And so I really think that's a good way to put it, because another negative of change is those naysayers that are going to throw that in your face. Man, you've really changed since you were a firefighter or a driver or whatever. And first off, you know right away I'm thinking, is that supposed to be a knock on me? I mean, are you trying to cut me down by saying that? Because I hope that things have changed. you know I sincerely hope that I am not the same person that I was 18 years ago when I first got hired on, or the same person that I was 10 years ago when I first became, our frontline officers, which is a lieutenant. You know, I hope that I am changing. I hope that I'm evolving. I mean, that's the point. And so, first off, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why that can be thrown in your face as, trying to make you feel bad or whatever. But at the same time, or on another side of that is, I think that is a cut down that people use to justify themselves being stagnant, to justify themselves being in a rut and staying in their comfort zone and not learning and not growing. If you are somebody that sees your downfalls and knows you're not doing what you need to do to fix those, and you're also around people that are doing those things and are changing and are doing better, and all this, well, it's a lot easier to cut those people down to your level, or at least try, than to do what you're supposed to do. So, that's kind of what I get out of that, and I have heard it. I have heard it a lot, and it's whatever. I don't care. Like I started out with that. I take that as a compliment. It's exactly what I want to be doing, is evolving and changing and growing. So, you know, I'm bouncing around here, but I think it's all part of the big picture. I've got once again, some quotes that I'd really like to kind of add on to this, that really goes along with me. And so with that, you know, here's one from Jerry Rice again, a professional athlete. He's not a firefighter. He's not, a business world leader. He might be now, but it's he is a leader, period. Leading is leading. And so, when you see these quotes from people from all different aspects of life and demographics and career paths, it shows you that being a leader is the same across the board. But he says, "Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't." And I think that's awesome. That really plays into where we're at, is, you know, I am going to step outside of my comfort zone. I am going to learn. I'm going to grow. I'm going to push myself. I am going to do things that might humiliate myself. I'm going to do things that I'm probably going to mess up in front of people. But you know what? Tomorrow, I'm going to know how to do that better than I did today. And you know what? Those people that didn't do it yesterday, they're not. They're the same as they were yesterday. And so I that's how I kind of play that into this conversation, and I really, really I love that visual, and that's the way you got to be. And no, I'm not trying to tear people down because I'm better than them. Absolutely not. I mean, I don't think that anything I'm saying portrays that. But I also am not going to miss an opportunity to grow just so I don't look like I am shoving it in somebody else's face that isn't willing to grow. The unwillingness to grow of somebody else is not going to take away from the willingness of myself to grow. I will not allow that, and that is a lesson that I have had to learn really over and over again this year. I've tried to work my way through that over and over again because it is a constant struggle. Because realistically, most people are not able to surround themselves by people that are on the same page. Hopefully you have a few, but to realistically be surrounded by your entire team or crew or shift or whatever it is, whatever small circle that you are with constantly, if if you are able to have all of those people on the same page, that's awesome. But chances are somebody isn't. Somebody's not bought in. Somebody isn't willing to grow. Somebody isn't willing to go along with the expectations that you put in place for the greater good of the culture that you want to create. Somebody is going to be against that. And so there's the choice. You know, are we going to change what we expect? Are we going to alter that vision that we have or that culture that we're striving for? Are we gonna twist that a little bit or back off a little bit to pacify these people? Or are we going to push for those things that we truly believe in, that we truly feel are the right things to do? And so that's what I've had to work through is just that fight to keep going. It doesn't matter if I'm doing it alone because nobody will do it with me or if I'm doing it with everybody. I have to do it. And I know this is something I've said over and over again, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but it always comes back to that. And so when you do have people that won't get out of that comfort zone, when you do have people that won't just get out of their own way, yes, you try and you try and you try to get them there, to bring them up to your level. But at the end of the day, if that can't happen, or if it's not going the way you want it to, no matter how hard you're trying, you cannot allow that to rob you of your passion, of your goals, of your vision, of your drive, of your attitude, morale. You can go on and on and on and on. You cannot let that rob you of those things. You have to do what is in your best interest. And I've said it a few times, you have to protect those things. Protect your drive, protect your passion, protect your vision, protect your culture. And sometimes that means that you have to distance yourself from those that aren't on the same page. And that's another thing that I've struggled with. And I have to tell myself that that's okay. I have tried. I have tried and tried and tried. It's not working. So, okay, now I have to shift gears and protect myself. And so, you know, it, all of these are just lessons that I am currently learning and have learned and really have to learn every day. And so, you know, I think this is a very similar quote to the Jerry Rice one that I read earlier, but maybe worded in a different way. But again, I really like it. So this is Max Dupree, and he says, "We cannot become what we want to be by remaining what we are." And again, you know, that's exactly what we're talking about. If we are somebody who is in the rut, if we are somebody who is in that comfort zone, we will never be anything else. We're definitely never going to be anything better. I will say that. You know, you might get worse, but you're never going to get any better. You have to do those things that others aren't doing if you want to become what others aren't becoming. And so I just have a very personal kind of, I don't even know what to call it. I feel very much like I have to say this and get this out because I know a lot of us out there are struggling. I know a lot of us out there have struggled. I've been there. I have been that person in the rut. I have been that person in the comfort zone that did not want anything different. And so, you know, I feel like I want to share it, and I've shared that a lot. You know, any kind of chance I get that the conversation is leaning that way, I'll bring that up because I want people to know that I'm not pretending to be somebody that's been fired up from day one of rookie school till, now almost 18 and a half years on the job. That's not me. I have had to fight through those low times. And so I I just want people out there to know that it's available. You just have to get it. You just have to do the work. You have to be the one to push it to that level. Nobody can bring you there. Nobody can help you with anything if you aren't willing to help yourself. If you aren't willing to make that change, it doesn't matter how hard others are working to help you. And so that's the conversation you have to have with yourself. That's the self evaluation you have to have. You know, anybody can sit and say all day long, yes, I know I need to do better. Yes, I know exactly what my problem is. Yes, I need to avoid these things. Yes, I need to get up and do this or do that. It's easy. Saying stuff is easy. I'm I've gotten to the point with some people where it's like I don't want to hear it anymore. Okay, good. I'm glad you feel that way. But I've heard it 18 times. I'm ready to see something. I either want to see something or I don't want to hear it, period. And so, that's where you got to get to. You got to get past the talking and you got to get into the doing. Stand up, get out of the comfort zone, push yourself, you know, listen to those around you that are trying to push you. Be part of the team. Join in. Be accountable to each other. That team is more valuable than just a group of people working for the same goal. It's a group of people working to make each other better is what it should be. That's the true value of a team is those people, however many it is, all working together to push each other far beyond any level that any of them would have imagined being. We've talked about it a few times here and there. What I love about a team that is kind of bought in, when you have at least most of the people bought in, is that not one of those people are going to be fired up every day. Not one of those people are going to be motivated every day to do what needs to be done. But that team has other people. And so even though there might be one person that does the majority of the driving, the pushing, all of that, the days that that one person, that driver is not up to doing it, there's somebody else to pick that up and keep going. That's the awesome thing about being a part of a team is having people there that recognize, "Oh, okay, I can tell that you don't have it today. I get it, man. We're we all get there. I got it today, and we're gonna keep going." And that's again, that's a culture. That is a true sign of a good culture is when you have everybody on that same page and when you have people that are willing to step up and take that torch, even if it's just for a day, until that leader or whoever it is that's your main driving force until they know, get back into the mindset of where they should be. And so, I know I've bounced around a lot. I it is a topic that, like I said, I do feel really personal about because for one, I've been there, and for two, I see it. I see it over and over and over again. And it's just a choice. It literally just comes down to a choice. We can choose to be better than we were yesterday. We can choose to learn something that we didn't know yesterday. We can choose to sharpen skills that need to be sharpened. Or we can choose to feel safe, to we can choose to make sure that we don't get made fun of because you can't get made fun of for messing something up when you're not doing anything. We can choose to not put ourselves out there, or we can choose to step outside of that and make a difference. Make a difference in your own life, make a difference in others' lives, make a difference in the fire service. So I will leave you with that. I'm afraid if I keep going, I'm going to ramble on and on about, any and everything else. But I think that that's a great, great thing to be kind of looking at this week, kind of judging where or self evaluating where your comfort zones are, you know, some of these areas that you really need to maybe start pushing yourself because even if you're really good at kind of stepping out in most areas, there may still be one or two areas that maybe you don't even realize. That's why I have these conversations on Monday is so that we can start out Monday hopefully with some positivity first off, but also hopefully we can have something to kind of evaluate where we're at and find areas that we can grow, find areas that we can get better. So hopefully I said something like I always say that's kind of spurs some thought. I would love if there are conversations that I've had that you even share with your crew and really start up a good conversation within the crew. And so, you know, I appreciate anytime somebody reaches out and kind of tells me a little bit about the story or what's going on or ways that some of these episodes have helped. And so if you have anything like that that you'd like to share, please reach out to me. I always like to hear that stuff. But like I said, great, great guest coming on Thursday. Be watching for that. Looking forward to sharing that with you. And until then, everybody stay safe and take care of each other. Thank you.